Hi, my name is Michelle Word Hollis, and welcome to Morning Pearls. I'm so excited to share with you the pearls that I receive during my devotional time. Again, I am still in the book of Nehemiah. It's a wonderful book for understanding how to deal with difficult situations, problematic events, as well as difficult people. And so in the second chapter of Nehemiah, we're looking at a man who has already dealt with his own fears. So he's past that now. He is operating and executing the plan that God has given him, the mission that he is on to rebuild the gates of Jerusalem as well as the walls of Jerusalem. And so in the second chapter, we find him actually going about beginning the task of rebuilding the walls and resetting the gates. And he has some adversaries. And this is the beginning part of his adversarial relationship with Sanballat, Tobiah, and Geshem. And one of the things that I noticed and what I want to talk about is that Nehemiah was poised, prayed up, and positioned. So I want to deal with poised first. And I want to give the definition for poised. Poised means to be marked by balance or equilibrium. It means to be dignified, self-confident, to have a self-confident manner or bearing, composure, or self-possession. I also found another definition that I find very interesting, and that is one that says to hover as a bird in the air. And I don't really know why that particular definition, but it says to hover as a bird in the air. And of course, that triggered in my mind Genesis 1, where it talks about in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was without form, it was void, it was darkness. And it says the Spirit of God hovered over the surface of the water. So when I think about Nehemiah as well as the first chapter of Genesis and hover as it relates to being poised, I see it in my mind, and what comes to me is that you're aware of what the situation is, the problematic situation, the difficult events, whatever the problem happens to be, but yet you're kind of separated from it. Like you're a part of it, you're aware of it, but you're not fully engaged in it. Like you're right above the surface. And this gives you a advantage, meaning that you can gather the information, you can look at the situation from different perspectives, and then you can use the information that you've gathered to formulate a plan on how to resolve the situation and to find a solution for the problem that you're dealing with. And I love this, particularly how Genesis, that first chapter, works into being poised, and what I see Nehemiah doing, and even examples in my own life of how I try to incorporate this, and will even go further with trying to incorporate being poised. And it's almost like a stillness and just getting really quiet, thinking about the situation, thinking about the problem, and yet not being fully engaged. And I think that not being fully engaged is not letting your emotions overtake you, not being overly emotional about whatever you're facing, whatever problematic situation or event or difficult people that you're dealing with. You're not letting them hook you or getting too involved in it where your emotions are out of control, but instead you're using constraint. You're constraining yourself, you're constraining your thought process so that you can be focused, you can have clarity. And that's what I see in Genesis 1, because before God did anything, he hovered. He thought about it, and this is how my mind processes this information. He thought about it, he came up with the plan, and then he got to work. He said, let there be light, let there be this, let there be that, and it was. I see Nehemiah doing the same thing. Before he engaged with anyone, he went and examined the walls himself and the gates himself. He did it under the cover of night. So he was assessing the situation, gathering the information so that he could know exactly how he needed to execute his plan.